I will take one other framework, which is an interesting framework. I will take one other framework, which again he articulates the foreign policy through that framework, or territorial expansion through that framework. So let us try to understand how it has some relevance to modern day business also. So he talks about 6 methods of territorial expansion in ArthaShastra. You have what is called Sandhi, you have Vigraha, you have Asana, Yana, Samshaya and Dvaidhi Bhava. Dvaidhi Bhava means, you do both. Yana means you march. Asana means just keep quiet. This is not the right time. So just stay back. Samashaya is seeking shelter with another. Not only that time is not appropriate, you need a support. So better you do that. There are nice strategies which he talk about. So if you look at these strategies, I am able to directly relate it to quite a few questions that we have in business administration today, in businesses today. Because we ask, if I just strike the word territorial and replace it with the word market, then that's the idea of a business. Everybody says, I want to increase my market share. I want to grow 10%, 20% over years and so on. So therefore, some of the ideas that you see here, personally to me, it mapped directly to some ideas of business administration. So let me just throw those questions in front of you. So, one can say, how can we increase the market share? That's a very important question. So it's as good as asking in ArthaShastra, what are the strategies for territorial expansion? That's exactly the equivalent that we are talking about. Therefore, if we start looking at those ideas and try to make sense of what is happening there, perhaps we take a leaf or two from there. So that kind of a question one can ask. Or one can ask, how should we negotiate with potential collaborators? How do you deal with competitors? It's a very valid question, and it's a very sensible and important question. And in ArthaShastra, he has come with this idea of a circle of 12 kings, because some of them are competitors, some of them are collaborators. So then there are some rules, enemy is my friend, and we casually use those words. I don't want to throw such casual sentences here, because sometimes we may think it is only that much. All that I'm saying is this whole idea of this notion of circle of kings. How do you deal with these people at the first degree, second degree, and etc.? All those may be useful. How do you do with the competitor? What do you do with the competitor's competitor? In another plane, he may be a competitor with someone. So is there a way you can sort of work with them? So these kind of ideas can be thought about, and to answer those questions, maybe why can't we read this? Maybe we get some interesting ideas, some insights, which will open up some new thinking in us. That's the idea. One can ask when and when not to plan for a new market entry. It's like saying, when do you do asana and when do you do yana, or vigraha, or things like that. Exactly that. When do you enter into a market? When you don't. There are times where you have to delay your introduction. There may be, so one can actually read that and understand the first principles of where is he coming from. And maybe we have relevance to look at it in a context of business administration also. So one can look for those kinds of things. What is the value of multiple joint ventures and alliances? It's exactly saying, can you tell me what is this whole framework called the Circle of Kings? What am I to learn from this Circle of Kings? Essentially, if one develops a good understanding of Circle of Kings and the logic behind it, the ways to go about it, use it dynamically over situations and time, perhaps we may be able to answer this question: what is the value of multiple joint ventures and alliances?